What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with some more fantasy football content today. I am talking about our wide receiver league winners. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always, and all that stuff really helps out the algorithm. Make sure you stay subscribed. Running back league winners, quarterback league winners, busts, all that good content. Week 1 rankings dropping soon, so hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's talk our first league winner, Calvin Ridley, currently going at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth round. Let's just start off by taking a look at his last healthy season. Sure, there's been some time removed from that with his suspension and his mental health break, but still 90 receptions, 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns. Just a fabulous season across the board, and that was in 15 games. In that season as well, he had a 27% target share, 5th in win rate per route, and had a 40% air yard share, which is absolutely awesome for fantasy football. That's what you're looking for, targets and air yard share. Obviously, he's going to a new system. He was in Atlanta then. He's going to Jacksonville, but that could even be better for him. Going to get an upgrade at quarterback with Trevor Lawrence, who had a decent season last year, and I expect him to take another step up in year 2 in this system. And I think what you got to look at with Calvin Ridley, obviously he's been an elite route runner his entire career, but also the touchdowns, 10, 7, 9, and those were years with 90 targets, getting close to double-digit touchdowns multiple years. I think Calvin Ridley is going to absolutely excel in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. He's still a young player relatively. He's not close to 30 yet. And another thing I'll point out, Jacksonville has been playing him so far in 2 wide receiver sets, meaning I think that he's going to be featured. Christian Kirk has been sitting the bench, so if you got to think if it's going to be Zay Jones or Calvin Ridley as a 1, I would place my chips on Calvin Ridley. Also, another thing I think you got to point out, Jacksonville Jaguars traded picks for Ridley, and they knew they were going to have to wait an entire year basically for it to pay off. They invested in him. They see the talent that he possesses. We've seen the videos at a camp. He's looked great. Doesn't look like he's lost a step at all. And if you draft him where you are currently, I think you are getting a league winner in fantasy football, a guy that can elevate your roster to that next level. Let's say it's a late 3rd round pick, or you get him even in the 4th round. All of a sudden, you are getting a borderline wide receiver 1 at the end of the season. Could be that is going to majorly help your roster out. Like I said, I think he is still an excellent receiver, and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars know that and are going to feature him. And he's a guy I think who could very easily finish as a wide receiver 1 and really help your fantasy football teams out. Another thing with Calvin Ridley, he has the easiest schedule according to Fantasy Pros for wide receivers this year. I think that will help him post some monster games in the fall. Okay, our next winner, Christian Watson from the Green Bay Packers. He's currently going at the 502. Now, I want to point out some things. I feel like people are drafting him too low, and I think a lot of that is due to their belief in Jordan Love. But with the current wide receiver depth chart, he's basically walking into 120 to 130 targets minimum, in my opinion. He is going to be the number 1 wide receiver on this team, whether Jordan Love is good or not. So that's something I think people need to realize. And if he is, let's say Jordan Love is bad, he's still the number 1 on offense. He's still going to get a lot of targets. He's still going to have touchdown opportunities. He's still a great talent. But if Jordan Love is good, this is a guy who could finish as a top 5, top 8 receiver, and I will tell you why right now. So his physical tools, we saw he is 6'4", and he ran a 4.36 in the 40, absolutely insane. And when you factor in that he had a 25.5% target rate last year when he was on the field, that's a great number. I think he'll get anywhere between a 25 to a 30% target share this year in Green Bay. And he had deep targets. His average depth of target last year was 13.8. When you combine that with the fact that he was 4th in the league in yards after a catch per reception, I think that really bodes well the way that they use him, the way they're going to continue to use him, and his physical ability is just off the charts. He can take a post route, make a major difference. We see last year he only had 66 targets, 41 receptions, but 611 yards, 7 touchdowns, ran 2 in as well. They're going to give him the ball on the ground. He's going to get some bonus points for you there as well. Like I said, I think this target number doubles. If he's a guy who catches close to 80 balls this season, he is going to be a top 8 wide receiver in fantasy football and going to be great for your teams. Another thing I should throw out there, 2.4 yards per route run. That was 12th in football in his first year playing. He was an extremely raw player coming out of North Dakota State, and now we've seen him really, play well, and now I think he's set to make that giant leap that we see wide receivers make in year 2. And his is just the athletic ability that he possesses is just so different in the NFL. The height and speed combination is really, really, honestly, just amazing to watch him play. That's why part of the reason I'm so high on him. And like I said, all right, he will be the number 1 wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. But let's just say Jordan Love does not play well. Again, he's still going to get targets. He's still going to score touchdowns. He's going to return on where you're drafting him. He just might not be that smash pick. But if Jordan Love is good, he could be that league winner for you, and I really see him being that with the talent he has. I have no problem taking him in the 4th round even. I think he's worthy of it. This year I've been projected for over 120 targets, over 72 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and 9 total touchdowns. I think he could crush all of those numbers. But where you're getting him in drafts, I think that's a great value. And I feel like there's very few people that possess the upside that Christian Watson has, especially once you get to that point in the draft. Okay, this next guy is more of an honorable mention, but I will throw out Jackson Smith-Njigba as one other name I really like drafting. I think he is going to go even fall further in drafts now that he has this wrist injury and is probably going to miss, I would guess, 1 to 4 games of the regular season. I think it'll be, 2, 3, something like that, but he's going to miss a good chunk of the regular season. So that is something to note, but Jackson Smith-Njigba was absolutely phenomenal. His last healthy year at Ohio State, 95 receptions, 1,606 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And that's playing alongside Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Last year, or his last full healthy year, he was first in yards per route run in college football, and he also was number 1 in receiving grade according to Pro Football Focus. This guy is an extreme talent. Both Olave and Wilson, when asked who the best wide receiver on that team was, both said Jackson Smith-Njigba. We saw the impact they had as rookies, both breaking 1,000 yards. Chris Olave was on this video last year, so that's something to point out. We've hit on these guys before. He is elite change of direction and route running. He is just so smooth in and out of cuts. He is ready to be an NFL wide receiver right off the bat. I think that's something a lot of these rookie wide receivers don't necessarily possess, but I have no doubt that he does. Similar, Olave was a great route runner. He is an even better route runner, maybe, in my opinion. And like I said, those change of direction skills are just phenomenal. They match up to some elite slot receivers, which is where I think he'll be featured in this offense. He was a 20th overall pick, even though they have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf there. They wouldn't have brought him into town if they didn't plan on utilizing him. I see him being a guy that will come on over the second half of the season and be a guy that can separate your roster from other people's when it gets down to the nitty-gritty. Something I'll point out too, Justin Jefferson, his rookie year, if you look at the stats his first 2 games of the year, he did very little. JSN might not produce a ton in the beginning of the season because of this injury, but that doesn't stop him from having a monster season. I still think 1,000 yards is within the realm of possibilities, and I am just very excited for his upside. And he's a guy that next year he is going to be a first or second round draft pick, probably, or maybe you're drafting him where Chris Olave is this year. Something like that, though, but I think he's just going to take off, and this might be your last chance to get him as a valuable, so he's my honorable mention for league winners for wide receivers. If you guys have made to this point in the video, please hit that subscribe button. Stick around for more league winners, more busts. Values are already out. Week 1 ranking is going to be bringing you guys trade candidates in season, guiding you guys the whole way to that fantasy championship. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always, and it really helps me out in the algorithm. So I really appreciate all likes, all comments, and like I said, subscriptions also very much a fan of. So thank you guys for watching. This has been Fantasy Joe. I'll see you guys next time.